So, Escape from Tarkov is under some really heavy heat, and rightfully so, and we're going to go over why. Update on the current situation. So, to give you some context, when Escape from Tarkov came out 7-8 years ago, there was multiple versions of the game that you could buy, some with, better things that you could have. I bought the most expensive edition at the time, which I don't even remember what it was, but I think it was like $150. Different versions come with different things in your inventory. And recently, they announced several months back PvE mode along with an offline mode, and that this was going to be coming for people for free without any additional purchasing or different editions of the game that would force you to buy the game again, or downloadable DLC content, but again, it would be free. That was the main highlight that they stressed to us. Now, this idiot says, let me clarify the situation in a little more detail regarding owners of the EOD version and the access to the cooperative mode and the other issues. First of all, PvE game mode, this is not DLC. Yes, it is. It is absolutely DLC. I don't know in what world you're living, but you're not going to change the definition of what a DLC is because you think that we're all stupid. We're not. This game's been in beta for 7-8 years now. This DLC that you've told us that was going to be given to us, and I'm not even going to go through the Reddit history, but you literally told us that this was going to be DLC, and now it's not DLC, but now you want to charge us for it. Regardless, DLC, in our understanding, is the major additions to the game, including various functionality and content that are released after the official release of the game as themed DLC pack, Scav Life DLC, for example, which will add a lot of new mechanics and content for the Scav gameplay and leveling. You say it's our understanding. No, your understanding is wrong. I don't care if it's after the release of the game or before the release of the game. The DLC should be given either free, like was originally promised towards us at the beginning of when this stuff was announced, that it would be additional add-on downloadable content of the game and not separately charged in any capacity. But you then say, secondly, the specific functionality of the PvE mode, which I just want to remind you is that the majority of games that we play, Call of Duty, for example, has a PvE mode. It has pretty much like an offline mode. We can play against bots. We can play cooperative. We have all these different game modes that are just there for the most part, usually within the first few months of the game's launch. Regardless of what you think of COD, there's a lot of playability options for COD, right? Now, this is so weird to me because they specifically say that the PvE mode functionality necessarily located entirely on a separate network infrastructure, meaning that in order to have a PvE mode, they're having to put it on a separate network, a completely different network than what they're already running the main game on. Because essentially you play on our servers only in closed mode. At this stage, it is not possible to launch all players who are EOD holders. Right now, we simply do not have the required amount of resources for this. So if I understand this correctly, PvE is on a different network infrastructure, and you don't even have the ability to actually do the PvE mode on this different network infrastructure, and yet you still want to charge people additional money for this additional infrastructure that's not set up properly to play the game. How does that make any sense? We observed your dissatisfaction and decide that the functionality of the PvE mode will be available for free to all owners of the EOD version at the release of the game when the server infrastructure will be improved to the required capacity. Okay. You have the opportunity to test this mode by purchasing the Unheard edition of the game or upgrade to this version. We also decide to give a 50% discount when upgrading the Unheard version from the EOD version. Now, the new version of the game is $250, which is an astronomical amount of money, but a 50% discount. It should be absolutely free regardless. If I have the EOD version, I shouldn't have to pay additional money to have this new add-on for a function that I was told that was going to be included months ago. That's just shitty, bro. We plan to send one free Left Behind Edition key to everyone who has already upgraded to the Unheard Edition at the old price from the EOD version. Okay, that's not too bad. Moreover, so that any player of any version of the Escape from Tarkov can have the opportunity to test the PvE mode, we want to add the ability to purchase a separate early access to this mode. For EOD owners, there will only be about a 70% discount on the purchase of the early access to PvE. It would be interesting to hear your thoughts on this idea. You're going to hear my thoughts on this idea. That's horse shit. Okay, we shouldn't have to be paying additional money for this game already. And if you need additional money, or if there's monetary issues with your game, you just be upfront and honest and tell us that that's what the issue is. Trying to pull these like EA tactics of charging more additional money for a game that we've already spent an astronomical amount of money for is just outrageous to me. It's insane. Like, you don't give a shit about your fan base that you built, which just 4 days ago, people were like, okay, this is going to be pretty cool. And then all of a sudden this comes out and it's like, wow, what a absolute split. You're destroying your reputation. You're destroying your game audience, the people who have supported your game for the last 6, 7, 8 years. And you're really putting a nail in that coffin, and you're not going to be able to get it out because you stripped the nail. Next, regarding special items for the Unheard version, we plan to make restrictive or balancing changes for these items. This is it for now. Please share your thoughts. Thank you. Now, this was posted 6 hours ago, and I have not actually scrolled through the comment section. There's 3.3 thousand comments. I'm sure they're going to be very tasty, but let's just screw this. Oh, look at this. DLC, in our understanding, is a major addition to the game. Last time I checked, a brand new game mode that the game has never had before is a pretty major addition to the game. How is a new game mode not a major content, so therefore a DLC? You said it was a feature of the Unheard edition, but now you're selling access to it, which makes this game a feature. Why was co-op offline a purchasable game mode given for free to EOD, yet essentially offline co-op, but with the progression, is considered a unique game mode when it bears such an immense new layer to this game? Why did you not learn anything from Arena? We don't have enough servers. Is the exact same excuse you used then. Do you not think things like Arena or offline would be popular? Why can't we run the PvE servers just peer-to-peer? Yet that's not a bad suggestion. Why is there no way for people to self-host PvE only servers so you don't have to do it? That's not bad either. Oh, here's a good one. Ha ha ha. From your email receipt that we paid for. So people who bought certain versions of Escape from Tarkov guaranteed instant access to closed betas, digital copy preload, huge size stash, additionally good standings with all in-game traders, unique in-game ID, and free access to all subsequent DLCs in the future. Something that's within the new edition, the new $250 edition, is it gives you like a 20 or 30% boost, I think it was, with the traders of the game itself. Which is a bit of a grind to do. So you're pretty much, they're off from what they announced with the new version of the game. You're essentially getting a pay to win feature of 30% increase and a massive boost ahead of your progression that you would normally earn much more challenging through the traditional way you earn stuff in Escape from Tarkov. These comments are brutal. You had advertised Arena as DLC previously. It is no longer advertised as DLC. You advertised offline mode co-op as DLC. Now it is no longer DLC. You are now advertising that priority matchmaking will be in the game. What's next? A version that has a unique feature of priority matchmaking? Let me ask this. Is there any version of the game that I can play right now without the required files for the PvE mode being in the game? Because if not, this is by definition downloadable content. Exactly. It is insane to how quickly you've burned the bridge. EA is watching all this in the corner and taking notes. This is this is insane to me. This is still very tone deaf and arrogant. Tarkov is still in beta, and you use the money we gave you to fund other BS we didn't ask for or expect. Common sense would tell you don't move resources until Tarkov is feature complete. Once you've shipped the game, then go to waste whatever resources you want doing your own shit. You should have simply not be charging for any extra content until Tarkov 1.0 unless you can prove you are funded this completely separately to the money you received from Tarkov itself. Idiotic. They spent all of it on marketing of the game and tournaments, probably. Abbreviation for DLC. Downloadable content, additional content that can be purchased online and added to a video game as to enhance its features. Stop bullshitting us. Yeah, this is good thing your understanding does not matter. Words have meaning besides your understanding. Oh, nice. It's just a $50 plus tax upgrade instead of $100 over the EOD, with a grand total of $200 USD before tax. Oh, my lord. This is brutal. This is brutal. So half your player base gets the new stupid edition and you'll still not be able to handle the load. So again, I will be paying for something that you can't provide Your idiotic company doesn't deserve the player base it has. You know, I can't argue with that. They're right. Last year, I kind of stopped playing Tarkov because it was so riddled with hackers, man. And even for the amount of money that I paid for it 7-8 years ago, there's been very little to improve the game. There's still internet problems. I get disconnected from servers. It is riddled with people who aimbot, people who use vacuum loot hacks, where the items that you're about to pick up get sucked away from other players. It's an absolute clusterfuck of a game. And I would really recommend, as much as I love playing Tarkov, stop supporting this game. I haven't played it in over a year. I have no interest in playing it because everything they do to this game just destroys it and makes it a game that people should not be supporting based upon their decisions that they've made. And this is just more further proof that why people should not be supporting this company. And why they are absolute scumfucks, and they deserve to be right on the top worst gaming company next to EA. Because this is scummy. This is shitty. You are scamming, you're taking advantage of people, and you're going back on what you originally promised, which was free downloadable DLC, and now you're wanting to charge people for things that they should automatically have access to based upon the original promises that you made. So please fix this. You probably won't. Go fuck yourself. Stop playing Escape from Tarkov. It's not worth it. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your money. But most of all, it's a waste of your energy.